Well, good morning, and good morning. Top of the morning, fine people. Hey, welcome to another episode of Soul Awakening with Larry Purnell. That's right. I am your boy. I am Larry Purnell. I'm going to be your speaker for this morning. Well, good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday, Hump Day, February the 26th, 2025. Guys, thank you for being with me on today. I count it an honor that you will allow this platform to be a place that where you can be empowered, encouraged, and enlightened. Hey, maybe you are a newcomer visiting for the very first time. Thank you for being with me. I'm honored to have you with me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Listen, guys, I only have 25 to 30 minutes with you on today. I have a special appointment on this morning, so I have to hit the ground running, guys. So I only got 25, 30 minutes. Let's get it popping. Before we go into our discussion for today, what we're going to do is we're going to go over some quick announcements right quick. I got that going. Alrighty, I got that going. Let's get into our announcements. As you know, I'm going to be with you on Sundays. Alrighty, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Soul Awakening with Larry Purnell is going to be on Sundays now. Alrighty, that's going to be at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Alrighty, we're going to be with you on Thursdays tomorrow, guys, at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Soul Awakening with Larry Purnell. We're going to have a Bible study Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Already, as you already know, we already doing Soul Awakening with Larry Purnell Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Whisper in someone's ear, let them know that we are on live every Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thursdays for Bible study, that's 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And Sundays, guys, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Alrighty, guys, don't forget, I want you to skedaddle over to my YouTube channel, Apostle Larry Purnell. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get that channel up and going and develop, and we want to build it. So if you can do me a favor, if you can go over to Apostle Larry Purnell. Guys, there is a host of discussions, a host of teachings, even dating back to 2006. Don't laugh when you see how I look back then. I know you're going to go now. But there are a host of teachings back then that I believe will bless your life. So if you can do me a favor, go over to Apostle Larry Purnell. Do me a favor, like that particular video that you watch. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so that you can receive up and coming new videos. Alrighty. The next announcement is, guys, this weekend, this Sunday, actually, March the 2nd, I'm going to be in Sarasota, Florida with Apostle Howard and Pastor Lady Michelle Proctor. You don't want to miss it. The information is on the screen. I want to see your face in the place. That is this Sunday, March the 2nd at 10 a.m. By the way, they shared with me that they're going to have breakfast at 8:30 a.m. So you get to be fed physically and fed spiritually. You can't beat that, guys. I want to see your face in the place. Alrighty? Guys, I want to thank you in advance for your giving. Some of you are consistent givers to this platform, to Soul Awakening with Larry Purnell. I want to say thank you for your love, your kindness, and your prayers. Thank you for your prayers. I appreciate that in advance. For those of you who desire to give, that information is on the screen. And because of the fact that I gotta go, listen, you might miss getting that information. Just DM me and I'll make sure you get it. Alrighty? Well, guys, let's go right into it. Keep in mind, I only have 30 minutes with you on today. I gotta go. So let's get it started. You know what time it is. It's time to awaken the soul. Guys, we're going to resume this title series, When Being Me Isn't Good Enough. When being me isn't good enough. Now, for those of you who are newcomers to this particular series, listen, I cannot recap as to what we've been talking about. You have missed parts 1 and through parts 7, and you have been missing it. But you can go back and look at those previous parts, go to my YouTube channel, Apostle Larry Purnell, and you will see those parts. I promise you, you will be blessed. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and resume the title series, When Being Me Isn't Good Enough. This is going to be part 8. We're going to talk on a subtitle, Pointless. Pointless. Alrighty, let's get it cracking. I'm excited what the Lord has placed on the table of my heart for this morning. Get your notebook, get your pen. Let's get it going. Alrighty, so subtitle, Pointless. We're going to be talking on a title series, When Being Me Isn't Good Enough. This is going to be part 8. Let's get it going. Listen, I want you to understand something. And for those of you who are new on the broadcast, you're visiting for the very first time, or you are watching this video on demand, listen, I cannot recap. I can't recap. I don't have the time. I'm just going to be with you on 30 minutes on today. But I can share this with you. 2 things. You're more than welcome to skedaddle over to my YouTube channel, Apostle Larry Purnell, and you can see the previous parts to this title series, When Being Me Isn't Good Enough, and a host of other teachings that I have done in the past, and you can get abreast and get caught up. Alrighty? So listen, guys, I gotta, excuse me. Talking so fast is making me to sneeze. Excuse me. Listen. God created everyone with his intended purpose. Every person that comes out the womb of a woman have an intended purpose. God created everyone with his intended purpose. Now that's very pertinent to what we have been talking about as it relates to your identity. When you know your identity, you know your value, you know your self-worth. Alrighty? So God created everyone with his intended purpose. And for those of you who just came into the room, listen, guys, I only got 30 minutes with you on today. So that's the reason why I'm rushing and I'm getting it in so that I can get to my appointment. Alrighty? God created everyone with his intended purpose, right? And this is part 8, When Being Me Isn't Good Enough. So you have to understand you're not here because mom and dad had a heated night. It may look like that. It may have happened that way. But God, knowing your ending from your beginning, God created you with his intended purpose. Alrighty? God created you with his intended purpose. You have to understand that. You would never understand your identity. You would never walk in it. You would never be successful in walking in your identity if you do not grasp the fact that God created me with an intended purpose. I'm not here by happenstance. I'm not here by coincidence. I'm not here because mommy and daddy messed up. I'm not here because of fornication. I'm not here because of rape. I'm not here because of molestation. Listen, those things may have transpired, but God knew that you was coming, and he created you with his intended purpose. Now, listen, God creates with intention. He doesn't create out of coincidence or happenstance. He's just tripping. He's just playing around. No, God is an intentional God. He created you with intention, right? So when you understand that about yourself, you'll live a certain way, you'll talk a certain way, you will behave a certain way. Why? Because God has created me with intention. He has an intent for everyone that he creates. That is how awesome he is. He is the CEO of the universe, and he creates everyone and everything with his intention. Does that mean that everyone follows his intention? Of course not. But God is just that intentional. He's just that intellectual. He's just that smart. Right? He created you with his intended purpose. You have to get this, guys, because if you're ever going to walk in your identity, and know your value and know your self-worth, you have to understand it doesn't matter how you came out your mother's womb. You need to know that God created you with his intended purpose. God creates with intention. Alrighty? God creates with intention. So God created everyone with his prearranged design. For those of you who just came into the room, listen guys, I'm only going to be with you now for 15 minutes. I have an appointment that I need to get to, so I'm just going to be with you for 15 minutes and then I'm gone, but I am resuming on tomorrow. Alrighty? Now, if you're going to understand and walk successfully in your identity, you need to know that God created you with intention, right? He have an intent for everyone and everything he creates. He is an intentional God. God created everyone with his prearranged design. He have a prearranged design. God is so smart that he goes into your ending and creates your life to the beginning and says, action. God is a great playwright. He had playwritten your life to the T. Now, if you're living that life that he created and prearranged for you, that's another story. We'll talk about that later. But God created everyone and everything with a purpose, with a prearranged design, with his intention. Alrighty? So God created everyone and everything with his prearranged design. You are not here because of happenstance. You're not here by coincidence. You're not here, like I said before, because of mommy and daddy had a heated night. No, you are here with the purpose. Now, you may have gotten here through unfortunate issues and situations that transpire. Somebody on the line may have been abused. Their mother was sexually abused. You may be here by fornication. Your mom and daddy had a heated night. Whatever the case may be, God is so smart and so intellectual that all things works together for his good, that are called according to his purpose, right? Listen, you are here with a purpose. You are here on purpose, right? Although you went through, your mom and dad did whatever, you are not here. Let me say it this way. You're not a mistake. Yes, you are not a mistake. God knew you when you was in your mother's womb. God knew you even before your father conceived you, right? And God knows you. He's just that smart. He created you with his prearranged design. And listen to me, he have a purpose for your life. Now, God has a predetermined plan for everyone. God has a predetermined plan for everyone. He has a predetermined plan for everyone. All right, I want you to get that in your mind. In order to walk in your identity, you need to know that God have a predetermined plan for my life. He have a predetermined purpose for my life, and I have to start walking in it. And in order to do so, I have to know my identity, and I have to know my value and my self-worth. Listen, everyone that God created is valuable. Type that in the comment section. I am valuable to God. You are valuable. Why? Because God created you with value. You are here by God's predetermined plan. You are here by God's intent. You are here by God's prearranged design. Therefore, you are valuable to God. And that's the reason why the devil says to God, who is man that you're so mindful of him? God says, because he's valuable. She's valuable to me. I created her with purpose. I created him with purpose. So you have to understand I'm valuable to God. That's the reason why he fights for you. That's the reason why he takes up for you. That's the reason why he's constantly trying to help you and develop you and mature you and lead you and guide you and be a good father to you, because you are valuable to him. So everyone that God created is valuable to God because he created everyone with value. You have value. You may not feel like it, but you do. The truth of the matter is you are valuable to God and you have value because God created you with his intention. He created you with a predetermined plan and a purpose, and you need to know your identity, know your value, know your self-worth so that you can start walking in that which God have called you to do and called you to be, right? Now, listen, back in 2004, there was a science fictional movie that Will Smith played in called I, Robot. You remember that movie? That movie was a movie about a master computer that had a very complex intellectual mind. Someone created it. Someone created this computer to facilitate their purpose, right? So there's the creator, and then there was this master robot, right? And this master robot was able to connect to other robots, and this master computer was able to just do very complex intellectual things. Well, keep in mind, the creator created this master computer, this complex computer, this very smart computer to facilitate his purpose, right? To bring about his design, to bring about his plan. But what happened was the computer took on a mind of its own, right? When the computer took on a mind of its own, the creator got to the point where the computer now is useless. It's pointless. Why? Because it's not facilitating my mindset. It's not facilitating what I wanted to do, so they was trying to destroy this master computer. Right? This master PC, this master computer took on a mind of its own and is not obeying what the creator is telling and programming it to do. So the creator of this intellectual, powerful computer sees it to be with no value. It's worthless to him because it has a mind of its own. Listen, when someone that God creates, listen, because this may be you. When someone that God created deviates from God's intended design, they become useless to God. God didn't bring you here so that you can have your own way. God didn't bring you here for you to do your own thing. Millions of people have deviated from God's intended purpose, from his prearranged plan. So they are useless to God. Yes, useless to God. He still loves them, and he's still trying to work on them to get on the path of facilitating their purpose. And that's the reason why Jesus was so recognized and so pleased by the Father, because even on the cross dying, he said, "It is finished." What? What is finished? I finished my purpose. That's the same thing that Paul said. He says, I finished my course. I finished my course. I kept the faith. You have to understand you've been created by God. You have God's intended purpose upon your life. And if you're doing what you want to do, you're useless to God. You are pointless because he created you with a predetermined plan so that you can be a blessing to his people here on earth, right? But you're doing what you want to do. Useless. There is a place where God put everybody that is useless. Come on. There is a place that he says, listen, if you want to do your own thing, fine. Do your own thing. I would try to pursue you. I would try to help you. But if you're going to do your own thing, there is a place for that. There is a place where useless people go. Not that they're invaluable to God as a person. No, their purpose, they're not facilitating their purpose, so they're useless to God. So when someone significantly deviates from God's intended purpose, they lose their value. It doesn't matter if they're valuable to a company, valuable to a corporation, valuable to people, valuable to Facebook, everybody trying to monetize upon someone else. You may be valuable to others, but listen, you must be valuable to the Creator, the one who gave you the plan, the one who brought you here, the one who created you. You have to facilitate his purpose. I got 5 minutes. So when someone significantly deviates from God's intended purpose, they lose their value. They're pointless. They're useless. There is a place, guys, that God is going to send people who deviated from his intended purpose. Because when you are born again, you're born into his kingdom. Therefore, you know you have a purpose in this kingdom. But if you're going to do your own thing, you're going to live the way you want to live. You're going to act the way you want to act. You're going to behave the way you want to behave. You're going to take on the devil's character and do what you want to do. There's a place for that he's going to send you to forever, and you're going to do whatever you want to. And trust me, you're not going to be living well. Trust me, you're not going to like it. Right? God created you with an intended purpose. He have a prearranged design for your life. And if you deviate from that purpose, you lose your value. You are pointless, worthless. Listen, Deuteronomy 13:13. Certain men, the children of Belial, are going out from among you and have withdrawn the inhabitants of their city, saying, let us go and serve other gods which you have not known. Look at that word, Belial. Belial. Certain men, the children of Belial. I'm about to tell you what that term means. Go to 2 Corinthians, because I wanted you to see it in the Old Testament and I wanted you to see it in the New Testament. 2 Corinthians 6:15. And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he believed with an infidel? You may be asking me, what is Belial? What does that mean? Who is Belial? Satan is Belial. Lucifer was created with an intended purpose. He had a prearranged design over his life. He decided to do his own thing. With that being said, he became worthless to God. He became of no value to God. He's pointless to God. Right? Satan wants to do his own thing. He wants to be like God instead of walking in his identity. Satan have a identity problem. So he is worthless. He deviated from God's intended purpose for his life. He's doing his own thing. He's behaving his own way. He's independent instead of being interdependent in God. So Belial is worthless or of no value, pointless. Listen, that's the reason why Jesus says, depart from me. You pointless. You worthless. I don't know you. You have no value. God created you to do this, this, and this, and you decided to do this, this, and that. You're pointless. Anytime someone deviates from what the Creator called them to do, prearrange the design over their life to do, they become worthless. Don't be worthless. Seek out the will of God for your life. Don't do your own thing. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. Acknowledge God and he'll direct your path. So because the devil deviated from his original God-given identity, he therefore is worthless. He's worthless. He have no value. That's the reason why he's so mad at God, because he has been cursed. Anything that do not produce fruit from what the Creator called it to do is cursed. Because he don't want to walk in his God-given identity. Worthless, pointless, no value. When you walk in your God-given identity, you become valuable to God. When you're doing what God called you to do, you're valuable to God. I'm going to stop here because I got 55 seconds left. Listen, I don't want you to end up like the devil. I do not want you to be friends with the world. I want you to continually to seek God. What's my identity? Why am I here? What is my purpose for my life? And get to doing it. You're not here to do what you want to do. And listen, so many people are dying, going to the lake of fire while you fumbling around trying to figure out what you want to do. You're going to be right along with them. God says, I created you with a purpose. I created you with a will. I already have a pre-designed plan for your life. I already know how you're going to get it done. I already know who I need to connect you with. I already know these things. I need for you to have a will to say, yes, I am valuable to you, Lord. I want to do your will. Now, guys, I am going to talk about this on tomorrow, and I might recap because I know I sped through this, but I need for you to know this, that if you're going to know your identity and know your value and your self-worth, it has to always be connected to God's intended purpose. You don't have an identity without doing that which God have born you to do. So I know I sped through it. I want you to just chew on that for 24 hours, and I'll be back in 24 hours to share with you, and I won't be rushed. All righty? I want you to have a good day. I love you so much. Bye-bye.